Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's a little bit later today. I had a very long day yesterday. I did an interview. I filmed. I went to the I went to the storage unit. Studio. Is that a Freudian slip? Anyway, I filmed a whole bunch of YouTube video pieces of information for my SCA video. I edited probably for about, 4 or 5 hours. I was busy. Matter of fact, I did not go to bed on time. I normally go to bed by 9, the latest, and I was up till like 10:30, 11. And so getting up this morning was really hard. So it's much later than I normally am. I actually woke up to take my meds like I'm supposed to. And Asher was very good about walking all over me and meowing and saying, "Hey, Mom, get up." So I took my meds and then I promptly went back to sleep. Oops. So we're a little bit later in the day. So today's daily devotion is actually, it might be a little bit longer. It might take me longer to read it, but we're still on the card Pueo, Guardian of Aumakua, card number 24 of the Earth Warriors Oracle. And isn't that a beautiful card? I just love that card. So I'm going to read from her book because I think it's a really good story. The Hawaiian legend of Pueo tells the story of a man, Oahu, who robbed the owl's nest. Upon hearing the sadness of the owl's protest, he was overcome by compassion and returned the precious items to the nest. Revering the owl is as a sacred creature worthy of respect and protection, honoring her as a divine being. This was considered blasphemous by the ruling law men, and Oahu's execution was ordered. As the execution was about to take place, owls began to gather, darkening the skies with their wings, making it impossible for the executioner to see or to act. And Oahu walked free, protected by the sacred feminine that he had chosen to protect. As spiritual beings, we have great power to take from this world, to use and exploit the feminine world of soul and nature to suit our own personal agendas. Yet when we honor the soul realm as sacred and protect the feminine and recognize her divinity, we can trust with her generosity and assistance in return. When we forego and disrespect and theft, she will answer us with extraordinary reward. Pueo comes as a reminder that the soul realm of the divine feminine is real, powerful, and active in influencing the earth realm. Although impediments and restraints have been imposed on you by the physical world and may seem intimidating, and your mind may become enraged and want to dominate the circumstances in response, Pueo brings reassurance. She is capable of overcoming the odds against you and freeing you to live the life you are spiritually destined to live. When the Divine Mother comes to you as Pueo, she also brings a warning to pay attention to anything that would undermine your joy, your sense of effectiveness, and your purpose, or anything that provides distraction and drains your vitality. Claim your right to life and win the spiritual battle by honoring the necessity of your own soul expression. Allow her to use her lethal talents and unparalleled skills in the hunt to locate and destroy any influence that would lead to your demise. Be willing to trust, let go, and change course. Affirm your current path and let nothing derail your progress according to your inner soul guidance at this time. There's more, but I like the story because Native and Aboriginal peoples, we all come from somewhere, right? So there's legends and stories that come from every culture in the world. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what color your skin is, what your hair does, what your eye color is, male, female, transgender, multi-gender. It doesn't matter what sexuality you are. It doesn't matter. Just know that there are traditional stories that our ancestors told that are like this. They all tell a story, and all those stories have lessons. That's how we communicated. And even when we started writing things down, we told stories when we wrote things down. You know, if you study history, what's really cool is that history can be looked at from many different perspectives. If you study, we'll say, the Byzantine Empire, Western history has a Byzantine Empire version. Eastern history has a Byzantine Empire version. The conquered have a Byzantine Empire version of one story of what happened. Unless you were there, you don't know. And so there's always versions of different things. And Aboriginal people and Native peoples of all cultures have myths and stories that were passed down, oral traditions that told stories that had lessons, that had purpose. Even if you look at the most revered book in Western Christian society, which is the Holy Bible, it's filled with parables and stories and myths that teach a lesson. Now, you could consider that book factual, or you could consider that book a book of fiction. Everybody has their own perspective of that, right? So when I look at stories like this, I look at the layers, and I love how when she writes her book about these cards and what they mean and the inspiration for them, she comes at it from a very traditional storytelling, mythological perspective of what is the myth, what is the story, and what are the lessons. And I have always considered, because it's just part of how I look at the world, that Mother Earth's animals are the intermediary between us and her. They are the living, breathing, sentient entities that we have the ability to communicate with, because she is so vast. Mother Earth's consciousness, and we live within her ecosystem, on her world, within her world, and she's so vast and so big that the ability to communicate with her is hard. It's hard for us silly little humans. But she brings us through her animal kingdom. She brings us the ability to pay attention and communicate and commune with her if we are only willing to pay attention. And our ancestors did so. They paid attention to the world around them. They weren't removed in square boxes behind a boob tube all of the time. Like, they had to be out in it. They were out in it. They lived within her ecosystem. They had to survive. And when I read this morning, the thing that came to me is, because right now I'm really struggling with this knowing that I need to be working on, I need to get my website, fixed. I need to network more. I'm going to be working with the massage school in the fall, in not very long. In a couple weeks, I'm going to start doing that part-time. I know that I have things I'm going to be doing, but in the meantime, because of my neurodiversity and because of my lifetime of trauma of always having worked, I have always worked. I have always had a job. And the societal pressure and expectation that you always have a job, you always get a paycheck from somewhere else. And I'm in that flux. I'm in that, I know what my dream is. I know what I want to be doing. And I know that I'm recovering from being really sick and overworking for someone else. And I'm in that flux, and I'm in that it's not an indecisive place. It's a place of unease, but it's not unease as in fear. It's an unease of, I'm not entirely certain which step to take next. So I know that Pueo, the goddess Pueo, and what she means, what her message of making sure that I am treasuring my feminine divine power, and I'm manifesting that in everything that I do, and I'm being strong with that, and that our Western patriarchal puritanical world is set up for that to be a big challenge for me. I mean, I remember the day that I unapologetically started to say, I don't shake hands. Because shaking hands is a Western, patriarchal, puritanical form of greeting and socially accepted acknowledgement of someone. That is a Western thing. And I've hated it my whole life. And when I finally conscientiously said, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. And I did. I was introduced to somebody and I said, I'm sorry, I don't shake hands, but it is nice to meet you. And I kind of like nod my head, and often I put my hands together, kind of Easternish, right? I had people actually start responding kind of like, oh, you must be Buddhist or something like that. I'm like, no, I just don't shake hands. But working in a business environment the last year, a very high-end, busy business environment, there were people who were very uncomfortable with it, and they did not know what to do. Like, oh. And I was like, I don't need to shake hands. It's nice to meet you. You know, like, I was unapologetic about it. And it's the same thing with building my business and doing the thing that makes my heart sing so that I can help other people's hearts sing, is that I need to find the inner strength. I've been told over and over and over in my life, you're so strong. I'm gonna cry. I'm not strong. I am struggle bus central. I have to work through these things just like everybody else does. I have to work through and plan and script and figure out what this looks like, because this is all new territory to me too. I know that it's important. I know it's things that I need to do, but it is uncomfortable and it is a journey, and I have to figure it out. I'm not any stronger than anybody else. But Pueo and the Divine Mother, I love how this says, she brings a warning to pay attention to anything that would undermine your joy, your sense of effectiveness, and your purpose. Claim your right to life. Win the spiritual battle by honoring the necessity of your own soul. Allow her lethal talons and unparalleled skills to hunt, to locate and destroy any influence that would lead to your demise. Be willing to trust. Let go and change course. Let your inner soul guide you. That's tough. That's a tall order. But we can all do that. It doesn't have to be a big chunk. It doesn't have to be a huge life-turning shift like I seem to have done, because apparently I don't do anything halfway. But we can all do that a little bit. And so that's what I'm going to take away with today, because the last 2 days I've been really in this, I've been in a little bit of a funk of what do I do next? And I don't know what to do next. So have a beautiful day, my friends. It's Friday. Have a beautiful weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Have fun. Enjoy the sun. My husband's doing a marathon thing for a fundraiser, and I am sewing. Lots of sewing. And I probably have another 10 hours of YouTube video editing to do, but I want to get a whole bunch of videos done and scheduled out. And then these videos obviously go on the Elemental Healing YouTube site, and I realized last night that I hadn't posted any of this week's, so I'm going to go back and do that. Make sure there's one for every day. Anyway, you'll probably see a huge dump chunk, and then all of next week's are already posted except next Friday's, obviously. I do so good, and then I fall off my wagon. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Have a beautiful weekend. Enjoy the sunshine. It's supposed to be a little bit cooler this weekend for me. Yay! 80 degrees, not 98. Melty. Have a beautiful weekend. Blessed be, and I will see you next week in prayer. Blessed be.